Chapter 23. Earth Traps. Bree fumbled deep into her hip pack for the mystic sword handle as the knights broke completely free of their rock covering. As she pulled it out, the sword formed and gleamed in the torchlight. The knight on her left moved to her first and brought its spear down onto her. Her instincts kicked in and she blocked the attack, swung the sword around her as she spun, and hit the knight on the back of its knees, causing it to collapse. She stood up quickly and winced as her whole body still ached. She may have the abilities and training of the Royal Golian Legion, but her body was too hurt to move fast enough. The knight from behind the altar jumped over it, taking advantage of Bree's pause. She raised her shield to defend the attack, but was knocked backward. She hit the wall and began seeing stars. The third knight joined in and body slammed her deeper into the wall, making her cry out in pain. She dropped to her knees and rolled toward the door. And the first knight. He lunged at her with its spear, but she dodged it, bringing the sword around and slicing the spear in half. She continued to spin and tried to stick the sword into an open section of the armor, but missed. She ended up in a crouched position near the door, her sword extended to her side. She was exhausted and still in pain, but she had to put that away and focus on the fight. She felt the vibration on the sword and looked to see that it was now on fire. The flames flowed around the blade and seemed to sparkle. She looked behind her to see Blaze standing at the door, Odiana standing on his head, her wand at the ready. Bree smiled wide, and then turned to face the knights. The first knight charged her again, hoping to skewer her with the broken end of its spear. She jumped to its side and brought her sword across its neck. The helmet fell off, and the rest of the armor collapsed as there was nothing inside it. Blaze and Odiana charged the other two. Blaze tackled one of the knights, launching a full blast of fire into its open helmet. Odiana landed on the helmet of the third, shoved her wand inside, and unleashed a blast of mixed fairy magic. Both collapsed like the first one, and the room fell silent. Bree ran over and hugged Blaze. Odiana landed on her shoulder, hugging too. They held each other for a while until Bree finally pulled away. "What happened to you both?" she asked. "After the worm ate us, we fell deep inside it," Blaze replied. "After a while, there was an explosion, and we ended up on the surface again. When we couldn't find you, we ran until we found a cave and followed it into this place. After that, I just used my nose and tracked you." "We all smell," Odiana added, wrinkling her nose. The other two chuckled. Bree stood and grabbed the flaming sword again. "How did you know it would take the fire?" she asked. "I didn't," Blaze said. "I took a chance. Nice sword." Bree concentrated, made the flames on the sword vanish, and then collapsed the blade. "I think it's a gift from the Royal Golian Legion. Along with the shield, they're mystic weapons. The shield is earth-based." Blaze sniffed it. "Smells like earth, I think." He then nudged her hand holding the sword hilt. "Can you activate the flames on the sword again?" She shrugged, extended the blade, and then concentrated once more. Flames slowly poured out of the hilt and crawled towards the tip of the sword. "I think the sword can absorb magic or elemental powers," Bree said with a nod. "That's a good weapon to have," Blaze commented. "By the way, what happened to you?" Bree collapsed the sword again and quickly told them about waking up in the room, getting the weapons, and then finding this room. When she was done, she looked at the treasure chest still on the altar. She approached it and again stood on the floor tile that activated the knights. Nothing happened, so she reached out and opened the chest. It was not locked, but it creaked from its old age. As the lid lifted, she could see a rope tied inside and going into the base. A creaking sound was heard until the lid could open no more. There was a large clang from the altar, and then it collapsed. The floor opened up, and Bree fell down into a booby trap set into the floor, leading to a pit. Doo-doo-doo.